It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. We are brought to you by the Red, White, and Blue and the Kia stores of Anniston and Gadsden. Today we got somebody on here you're going to recognize. Time last year, Santa Claus. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Today we got a guy on here that's he's been here with us every year. He comes down up north and does the show for us. He's got some very interesting things about us personally that you may or may not know. But let's all welcome Santa Claus. Welcome to the show, Santa.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate you having me again.
Good to have you back. I don't get to see you that often. I get to talk to you every once in a while, but I know you're busy. This time of the year, you stay busy, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir, we are. You know, we tell children and that Santa comes and watches over children's moms and dads and papas and mamas all year long, make sure they're doing all right. And a lot of kids, you know, sometimes they're teeter-tottering on what to believe. So when we tell them that, and if we get lucky enough to get their name, it's just something that you can see the sparkle in their eyes light up. You know, when Santa knows my name and he knows my family and what school I go to and stuff. And one of the big things that the children are still telling us, Ken, is Mom and Dad don't listen to me. And
Mom and Dad don't listen to me?
Yep. And that's one of the biggies. And we also they want to see the reindeer and the sleigh, and I tell them, I said, well, that's not allowed. I said, I come down in a special sleigh, and we have drop-off points, and we have people, our helpers that meet us and pick us up and take us to various places. And so then we have a time that we have to get back to the pickup spot, and I said, you know, it's a magical time, Christmas. And I said, so much love and happiness. But I said, Christmas is what you make it.
Yeah. I want to talk more about some special instances there but I want to, Santa's got a lot of helpers out there, and this Santa has been in the military and all these kind of things. So he understands a little bit of the things about what's going on in the world out there as well as what's going on in Santa's world. And Ms. Claus, I know Ms. Claus, she does a lot of work. Matter of fact, I want to look at some of the stuff here on the table before we get into what Santa does. This is what you and your elves make out there, some of the carvings.
Yes, sir.
You're a wood carver, right?
Well, I'll let you look at this. That's
a turkey.
That's Mrs. Claus' pride and joy.
Why is it her pride and joy?
She has that sitting
right up. I got it.
Right up when. And but this is some of the carvings that the elves do, and we have them all over.
Is that a turkey after taxes?
Well,
I tell you, that takes some delicate work to do stuff like that. Did you carve this?
I carved that. Yes.
That is awesome.
And
I'm gonna put him back in his nest.
Get back in there a little bit. Yeah. The elves do
a
lot of the carvings, and of course we have so many toys to make for children, and of course the electronics industry, Ken, is just absolutely blown out of proportion. It's just unreal, and a lot of the children, well, they want these iPods and iPads and these smartphones and things like that, and they don't realize what something like that cost to make, let alone to give away.
You know what I saw on CNN or one of the stations the other day? 1-year-old babies being taught to use computers, being taught iPads and things. Touch this and it makes this happen. You touch a sheep and it makes the sounds and all this stuff. It's like a computer, and they learn how to drag their fingers on it to make it do things. It's amazing what you're talking about they're doing there. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yes, it's unreal what some of these children want. And I had a little boy. He says, I want a smartphone. 5 years old. I said, you do? Yeah. I said, okay. His two sisters I had talked to early wanting iPads and smartphones. And so I was fortunate enough to hear his name, and I believe it was Henry. And I said, well, Henry, do you know what to do with it? No, but my sisters are getting one and I want one. So we have a lot of that, and of course, it's joyful to get to them, and we have to tell them that we can't haul horses or cars or trucks or dinosaurs. And
do you carve? I keep interrupting you, but do you carve toys for kids, like little wagons and stuff like that, or is it just the animals and stuff that you do?
We do. We carve them on special occasions for special children. So normally we have elves who get the wood, and they work the wood, and they cut everything out, and they trim it and carve whatever it needs done. And but I personally carve some things for children and our veterans. I find it sad, Ken, that people are not realizing what our veterans have done for them. And if they could, they'd go right back and do it again. They went and they did what they had to do, and if they were lucky enough to come home, they come home. It's just one of these things that, it's like you never missed the water till the well went dry.
Yep.
And one day, you and I will probably be long gone, but one of these days it's going to catch up to us.
We just went through Thanksgiving, families gathered around. I went with my family, and yeah, I know, I got some of that too. A little turkey there remind me, I'd ate that. I got that much caught in my teeth, But, with the family thing with Thanksgiving, all those I was thinking about over in Afghanistan, the rough terrain they're in and stuff. And on the way back home, I was thinking about it was up in the evening, good and dark, and I was just thinking about, wonder what it's like where these guys and girls are today. And I've enjoyed being with the family, enjoyed my meals and everything. And then all of a sudden, I start thinking about what it was like. There's probably, in my lifetime, no sadder time in the world as when I was in the military and was away from home. And as we approach Christmas, as we're talking about the joy and the excitement for the children here that you're going to be visiting with, and you said something about the veterans. We need to think about the active military too that are over there, because when we sit down under the tree and start to open the presents and stuff, they're in a god awful place with dirt floors and things like that, and cold weather, and some of them are just over in Texas or somewhere away from home. It's just being away from your home because of your military service. It may be in Germany, or it may be some other place. It's not hostile, but you're away from home.
That's right.
It's just so we need to remember. I'm glad you brought that up, because we need to remember the veterans who are here suffering from what they lost over there, but didn't lose everything. But anyhow, we come up on a break here, I think, but we got to go and pay the bills. We'll come back out and talk more with Santa Claus. We'll be right back after this. Stay where you are. Get you a pen. Go ahead. Welcome back, Veterans Issues, and I hope you remember what I said at the opening, that we brought to you by Kia Stores, because there's some fine folks down there. It's getting Christmas time. They got some specials, and before I forget, I want to make sure that you understand that, especially you veterans out there, 20% discount if you have servicing done or on your parts. 20% on parts and servicing. In case I forget that, we're back with Santa now. Santa, I want to ask you something. You mentioned the iPads and iPods and things that the kids ask. Is there another favorite toy that they're asking for that you can think of, or is that what they want?
Oh yes, the little girls. There's a makeup kit out there, and these young girls are wanting this makeup kit, and a lot of the girls said, "Well, I want a makeup kit," but she said, "I want it like Mama's got." I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to fix my hair and fix my eyes and put lipstick on." said, I asked her, I says, well, now, do you think that's right for, a 10, 12-year-old girl to do it? Yes, sir, sure do. I said, well, we'll see what we can do. And a lot of times they'll ask for puppies, pets and stuff. And I always tell them, well, I'll have to talk to your mom and dad about this. And when we say that, they kind of back up. And I said, well, we can't haul horses and cars and trucks and stuff in the sleigh because I'm so fat, we'll overload it. I said, but I'll talk to your mom and dad about this, but I said, I can't guarantee it to you. So, it's, and if, like I said before, if you're lucky enough to hear their name and you can remember that, and, we had a little girl that was she was 12 years old, and she just become an absolute pain in the rear end in school and at home, and she was sassing and stuff. And this lady asked me if I would talk to her, and her name was Rachel. So she pointed her out when she was coming, and Rachel come up there and sat with me, and I looked down at her, and I said, Rachel, kind of straightened up, and she looked up at me, and then my eyes got kind of wide, and I said, now, Rachel, I need to talk to you. Okay. So we had a little discussion about her
attitude.
And I told her, I said, now, Rachel, I said, I want you to straighten up on your own. At school, be attentive at school, pay attention, do your work, participate in class functions. And when you get home, you know what you have to do at home. And I said, do it, because it's expected of you to do it. You're 12 years old now, more responsibility. And I said, it just, you have to do it. It's just one of them things about getting older. But I said, attitude adjustments come in different forms. And I told her, I said, I'll check with your mom and dad in a couple of weeks to see how you're doing. And she just looked at me, and I patted her on and got a hug from her. I said, Merry Christmas, Rachel. So, when you can do that with kids. And
you like to be a fly on the wall and see what happened after that.
Yeah.
That while you're talking about the makeup and stuff, like Kizzy back in the control room wanted to get me a makeup kit from you think you can get me one? Kizzy will pay you for it.
We might be able to work that out.
She wants me to have a good makeup kit.
Good makeup kit, huh? Wow.
Nothing but the awesomest, because mine's wearing out. Do you tell me?
Is that a slight suggestion?
Well, we'll get into that later. I just messed with her. The kids, you said 12 years old. Do you get some big kids that come over too?
We do. Calhoun
seriously,
County.
not just playing silly.
Yeah. We get some older children that we have been with for quite a few years, and some of them now, of course, have gone on through and have got their education, and they've gotten married, and now they have babies, and they're coming.
How about that?
And we have a get-together. It's coming on here very soon, next week, I believe, where, our law enforcement men and women, they don't work on a 9-to-5 schedule.
No.
They work on 6 a.m., 24 hours later, 6 a.m., there's still law enforcement on duty somewhere. And it's a huge responsibility for our law enforcement people to do that. So we go in, and the wives all get together, and they bring their youngins in there, and them little babies, and we do a special picture taken for them. And there's a young lady who's she does wonderful work for photography, and she comes and does it free. And we just have a great time with them babies. And it's you sit there, and I look back, and here's this little 1-year-old baby that I got in my hands and arms, and I can love on her and hold her and hope we have no plumbing problems. And and I get to love on that baby, and I loved on her mama. And it's just
And that's well, that's you're talking about the law enforcement. You're doing that with the sheriff's department, but next week my guest will be Bill Partridge, police chief of Oxford. Bill. And
yes.
The thing you mentioned about with the law enforcement, no 9-to-5s and things like that, but some of their and we'll get more details of that next week, I'm sure. But this time of the year, some of the worst stuff happens as far as theft. just imagine you're a lady and your family is on fixed income, and you go shopping for 3 children. You put it all in your car, and you come back from the next door, and there's nothing left in your car.
Windows
And you
busted
spent the
out.
whole Christmas is gone.
Yeah.
No cameras saw it. You just, there's so much bad that goes on out there with the good. As the law enforcement has a busy, busy time taking care of our safety and our security while we're enjoying the family and the presents and things like that. But the one thing, while I got that opportunity, is when you get these real fancy packages. I learned this the hard way, but let's say a TV. You got a 32-inch TV screen, and you got a box sitting out on the side of the street. Guess what that tells a burglar? And,
That's right.
And the Chief Parcher was on a show. That morning, I had put a box on the edge of the street. And I couldn't leave the studio fast enough to get home and destroy that box.
That's
but
right.
it's something we don't think about. We shouldn't have to think about it, Santa, but what's going on in this world, I mean, we need to be ever cautious on that. And another thing, too, I'm thinking, you got a lot to do with kids, and people need to keep their eyes on their kids at all
Yes,
times.
sir.
I mean, I'm not talking about just like we use tripping and falling. I'm talking about some bad stuff out there.
And one of the things, a lot of times a mama will bring her baby to us, and here it is. She's just a little girl or boy, and here sits this guy in a red suit and white hair and wanting to hold him and be with him, and they can have a picture made for Christmas. Well, we tell our children and we teach our children, don't talk to strangers, don't take any candy, stay together. And then here it is, once a year they want their baby to sit in this fat guy's arms and with a red suit on. And for the child, many times it's devastating, and it's hard for them to grip what's going on. All they know that it's a stranger, and she's afraid of him, or he's afraid of him. But we as a society have fallen below what we know to be wrong, but they worry about this political correctness stuff that I hear so much about up in the North Pole, and we have meetings every morning, and we talk about this. And
we're running out of time, but that's going to be another political correctness thing. Santa, I appreciate you being on the show, but before you do, I want you to look in that camera right there and give a ho, ho, ho to all the women out there that have spouses serving overseas or somewhere right now.
Oh. Ho, 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 ho.
That's for you. And we appreciate you being on the show, Santa. And be
have
careful.
a Merry Christmas.
You too, and be careful out there flying around under the skies and climbing up them chimneys. Be right back. Stay where you are. Got news that you can use. Stay right there.
Get that pen.
Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Well, I had Santa on here. He was showing the carvings, but I didn't show you this one. This is the one that gets all the attention. I have people up at Cracker Barrel and places, they take pictures of this. He carves these. If you've got somebody in a veteran's home, nursing home, or something like that, a grandpa or whatever, that's a great item right there, that eagle. People see me, they recognize it. They don't maybe not know me, but they know McCain. So that's one of the things that I want to do. And I wanted the control room to bring something up because I want to tell you about this real quick. People know me about this track chair. That is the most awesome vehicle, if you will, that's around. It's a track chair for people who have wheelchairs or have problems getting around on the outside in the terrain that would not accommodate a wheelchair. And I've used this at the beach and other places out by the lake. If you've got someone in your family that is a veteran and they have inabilities to walk outside on unlevel surfaces and things like that, got a wheelchair, but they can't go out fishing and whatever, give me a call. You got my contact information. You can private message me, go on Facebook and get in touch with me. I need the names and the circumstances as soon as possible. We got somebody that's going to give out a couple of them. And I got mine. I think the people from Applebee's out of Birmingham that did that for me. And Support Our Soldiers is actually the one that did it, but Applebee's is the one that raised the fund. So if you know somebody needs a track chair, you let me know. Now, every week I try to tell you about this. You see on Facebook, you see me putting up the number 22. While we're celebrating the birth of Christ, while we're celebrating Christmas, we're going to lose every day, 7 days a week, we lose 22 veterans to suicide. 22 veterans take their lives every day. That's unthinkable, but that's happening. That's facts. And I want you to think about that when you think about what's going on. There's a lot of reasons for it. I was addressing a group yesterday, and I was telling them some of the reasons for it. Some of it has to do with economics. When they come home, there's no jobs available. They become losers and that kind of thing. So but keep them in your prayers out there and think about the veterans. If you can help a veteran with a job, you need to do that because you might be knocking it down to 21 instead of 22. There's a family in need that I can't go into detail about for privacy, but it's a mother and her daughter. Her daughter has medical needs. They need some financial help, and they need a place to live. Their living quarters is going to be up in a couple of weeks. So if you know someplace, even if you're watching this on YouTube up in Tennessee, in the Vanderbilt area up there where she can use the hospital facilities up there. If you're in that area, let me know. Just if you know somebody up in that area that has, the lady can do cleaning and house keeping and cooking in exchange for one room is all they're asking for. So if you know somebody like that, just let me know. I don't know what we got here before we are. I've lost track. Let me see. Oh yeah, the memorials that we're trying to do up in Centennial Memorial Park for the law enforcement firefighters. We're going to try to do the law enforcement one the first of the year. We're going to get back together and try to do that, and I'll keep you posted on that. As for what's happening over in Birmingham at the VA, they were supposed to finish that this month. Supposed to have the new parking deck and everything, and I'm going to let you know on the next show. We're here next week with Chief Partridge. I appreciate Santa coming in today. And this week's salute goes out to somebody named Belinda York and Jack York for all they do in this community. And we appreciate them, and we'll see you next week. And Santa's still here, and if I give a salute, he'll give you a ho, ho, ho. We'll see you next week.
Ho, ho, ho.